Welcome. We can spin. Oh, isn't that a wonderful thing about spinny chairs? Hello, it's Luna and welcome to today's episode of The Floor is the comfiest place in the world. Maybe not actually the comfiest place. I think up there in bed may be comfier. Although my mattress is not the most comfy. I don't know. I've definitely slept on comfier mattresses, much comfier mattresses even. But I was thinking today, originally I was like, oh, well, maybe we could do an outfit of the day. We could jump around. I was like, oh, maybe I can dance. But then I was sitting in my chair and I was like, oh, I don't feel like dancing. And then there was another sort of mini tragedy. It really wasn't that much of a tragedy because it's not the best thing in the world to be completely dependent on an item. But there is this one item that I feel lost without it. It is my pedometer. And as you can see, there are almost no steps that I have taken today, according to my pedometer. But the reality is that I was not wearing it for the first 6 or 7 hours of being awake, because it was attached to my dirty socks that I had slept in. And I realised later, after I had gone out already, I was like, oh no, I don't have it. Because I almost always, so I either attach it to my sock or I'll attach it to if I have a waistband, but if I'm wearing a dress, I don't necessarily have a waistband. Or I tend to wear shorts underneath everything, so I'll just clip it to my shorts. Anywho, it's now, I've kind of been flinging it around and it thinks I've stepped. But I find it's actually very accurate. But that's all beside the point. I was thinking, maybe I'll jump around and dance, and then I really didn't have any energy. And I sometimes find that when I turn the camera on, I'm like, okay, Luna, now you gotta have some energy. And, I don't know. Anywho, I was thinking we could read a story. Because I was feeling very sleepy, and now I feel like I can do something, which is kind of exciting. Also, I stumbled upon this word today. I didn't really. Stumble upon is not the right term. Anyway, I was watching an old Vlogbrothers video where the one fella was talking to his brother Hank, and he used the word morass, and I was like, you know what? I would not be able to sit down and explain to a rubber ducky the proper definition of morass. So I looked it up, and here I am, I'm going to tell you this story, and then as I'm realizing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot repeat what the definition is. It's like a muddy mess or something confusing. Maybe we should read the official definition. Let me pull out my handy dandy cell phone, which, speaking of cell phones, I actually don't. That's a whole nother story. But what we're going to do right now is google.com morass definition. Here we are. From Oxford Languages. Morass, an area of muddy or boggy ground. In midwinter, the track beneath this bridge became a muddy morass. Anyway, definition number 2 is a complicated or confused situation. She would become lost in a morass of lies and explanations. So, anyway, as I was listening, I was like, I should probably look that up. And then I was thinking, what if I told you about the word? And then I was thinking about how vocabulary is not it was never my strongest subject. I've never been someone who could sit down and get lost in a book, which is a bit ironic because I do really enjoy reading aloud. And as I have before, we have a copy here of Edgar Allan Poe's Complete Tales and Poems. So, I was thinking, actually, I was like, oh, well, maybe we can dance around to this song. And then, okay, so I made a song. But that's a different story. So here's my thought. I'll read you a story. Oh, the conversation of Eros and Carmion. But which story shall we read? I think today. Oh, I thought it would be fun to do some sort of fun animation. Okay, wait. What if we write it out here? What should I say? Welcome to... Okay. Welcome to Luna Mel. Okay. In post-processing, that became something, maybe? Oh, it's so bright right here. Oh well, okay, I'll just cover that up. I'll hide over here. And I was thinking we could read The Telltale Heart. Have you read The Telltale Heart? It's a bit long. Is it too long for now? Actually, oh no. Actually, I think it might be too long. So, instead, let us read a poem. I'm going to have to find a poem though, because I didn't pre-choose one. I think there's one, if I'm remembering correctly, called Evening Star, which I used to like many years ago. It's on page 1018. That is quite a few pages. I think it's really short, if I recall correctly. It's almost at the very end. I think I haven't read this since like 2013. That's a long time ago. That is a teenager ago. A teenager ago. Evening Star by Edgar Allan Poe. 'Twas noontide of summer and mid-time of night, and stars in their orbits shone pale through the light of the brighter, cold moon. Mid planets her slaves, herself in the heaven, her beam on the waves. I gazed a while on her cold smile, too cold for me. There passed as a shroud of fleecy cloud, and I turned away to thee, proud evening star. In thy glory afar and dearer thy beam shall be, for joy to my heart is the proud part thou bearest in heaven at night, and more I admire thy distant fire than that colder, lowly light. Should we read another one? We could read The Happiest Day, which is the next one, which it's definitely not the happiest day today. I don't know. Happy is an interesting thing. The happiest day. The happiest day. Actually, side note, I don't think I've ever read this one. And it's broken up into 6 parts. The happiest day. The happiest day, the happiest hour, my seared and blighted heart hath known. The highest hope of pride and power I feel hath flown. Am I supposed to read aloud that it's part 2? Or do we just move on? Anywho, part 2. Of power, said I, yes, such I ween, but they have vanished long, alas. The visions of my youth have been, but let them pass. And pride, what have I now with thee? Another brow may even inherit the venom thou hast poured on me. Be still, my spirit. The happiest day, the happiest hour, mine eyes shall see, have ever seen, the brightest glance of pride and power, I feel have been. But were that hope of pride and power now offered with pain, even then I felt that brightest hour, I would not live again. For on its wings was dark alloy, and as it flattered, fell an essence powerful to destroy a soul that knew it well. Okay, so have you ever read a poem or something, and you read it and the words are coming out of your mouth and it's not really going into your brain? So since I've never read that before, I'd have to read it again if I wanted to do some kind of poetical analysis, but I don't really feel like doing a poetical analysis at the moment. And now I'm getting quite warm and the sun is pouring in, but it's very not hot outside. I was going to say it's very hot outside. It's actually freezing. But I have these warmy things that are in my coat pocket and gloves, because I've been making sure that I bundle up well when I go outside, just because it's nicer to be warm than it is to be chilly, even though, you know, I could make it. I'd rather just be extra comfortable. Oh, I did want to show you, because now that the sun is pouring in, I wonder if I can make this happen. Do you see behind me? No? Okay, so because of the sun, I can sometimes get this to reflect in a fun way. Oh, do you see it on my arm? Nice. Maybe it is time to dance. Now, oh, wait, we could do something cool on the wall. What if... No, I don't know. Okay, so now that I'm kind of out of breath, and I think there's actually a danger to listening to that song for too long. I can't confirm it. It might be that I'm hyper stressed or something, I don't know. Because it's only in recent memory happened one other time where I started hearing music, not so much as like the music was stuck in my head, but I went to this dance game tournament in Sweden last year, and it's not focusing on my face. Hello, welcome to the floor. But yeah, I didn't get any sleep one night, and I kept hearing things, and it was mostly, I feel like it was the sound of the music from that night and the day before, but it wasn't quite the same as like when you get a song stuck in your head, you know. And earlier I was in Ableton trying to fix up this song. I was like, oh, I want to have it loop, and then I was kind of messing around with some other things, and I don't know, maybe I can show you over here. Okay, now my cable is connected. Ooh. Here's my Ableton. Wow, what a grand reveal. Okay, so anyhow, I kept listening to it, and now I can't recall if I had it in my headphones or not. But anyway, then I was lying on the ground, as I enjoy doing. Also, just like rolling around on the ground is quite great. The pinwheel is making a really cool. Do you see it over there, just above? Wait. Right there, that arc. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Anywho, it spooked me though, and I wasn't sure if it was because I was just like listening to it incessantly, trying to figure out where I wanted it to get it to loop. And it's kind of groovy, what in the sense of, I feel like it would be good to do jumping jacks too. Or you could kind of just fall away into a trance. I don't know what genre, if any, it could possibly fall into, but it's not even 8 tracks, because I had a 7th track and I ended up muting it because it sounded horrible. Like really bad. And initially I was like, oh, this is terrible, but the more I listened to it I was like, it's kind of just like boop 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 boop. It's not really like beep boop beep boop beep, but it's kind of like beep boop beep boop beep. I imagine that the dancing was, honestly, it was very tiring. I haven't just jumped in a while. It seems like a good BPM to, as I said before, to do jumping jacks to. Also just kind of like jump up and down. I'm trying to think if it would be a good jogging BPM. I don't really jog ever. I have it set to 120, and I was it was initially on 120, and then I was like, maybe I could try a different BPM. So at one point I put it up to like 300, and then that didn't sound good. It was just the melody, which isn't really much of a melody, sounded extremely rushed. And then I made it a bit slower, but then I felt like I would have to jump in slow motion, so I didn't end up doing that. I feel like my brain is kind of moving in slow motion at the moment. Also, I'm looking at, I have this set of pyjamas that are on the floor right now. I got in London in 2022, and they are so So comfortable. Actually, my friend got them for me, which is so nice. I was so excited when I like touched them, and then I was like, no, I don't need to get anything. Those are very kind of my friend. Yeah. Anyway, I love them, and sometimes I just wear them as clothes. Well, I think they're pretty cute. They're blue, and they have flowers on them. I almost wore them today, and then I didn't. And this is a very strange position to be in. I'm not going to show you. But I'm kind of like, I have my feet up on my desk. I like putting my feet up on the desk sometimes, but then the keyboard is so far away and I can't reach it. And then my arm, I'm holding my camera with both my good and my bad arm at the moment. Because my right arm is a little bit destroyed. But it is my dominant, and I am a righty. Although, I think the idea of teaching yourself to be ambidextrous is really cool. Okay, so my best friend in university, we were super close, had a lot of classes together, was a lefty. And they sometimes would challenge themselves to write with their right hand, like take notes the entire lecture with their right hand. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And so one time I was in my Japanese linguistics course, which was a really cool course. Anyway, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try taking notes with my left hand. And initially it's kind of frustrating because your hand cannot translate your thoughts quickly enough. But it's a fun test of patience and a training exercise in patience. Handwriting is very cool. I was looking at fountain pens earlier. Okay, my neck is breaking. Oh my gosh, I just realised, what if this is not recording? It is recording. Good. Also, what a place to have the ring light behind my head. Okay. We can spin. Oh, isn't that a wonderful thing about spinny chairs? The floor does not spin, but the spinny chair does spin. I like how the look of the sun coming through the blinds right now. Hold on, over there. You see? Da-dum, da-dum. Natural patterns. Okay. I guess this is going to be quite something or other. Stick around, perhaps, if you'd like. I would like that also. Do you see my eyeballs? They're purple. I've had to retire both my green pair of contacts and my pink pair of contacts. I think I also had to retire the brown pair. And I was like, oh, I still have a pair of purple left. So I'd opened these up. But purple wouldn't be my go-to, I'd say. Also, I can't have the heterochromia because I don't have another colour. I think I actually might have a grey pair as well, but I haven't purchased new contacts in quite a while. Also, the other thing is, my contacts are usually prescription. And this is the only pair I have that are not prescription, so they're not helping me see. I'm not, like, blind as a bat or anything, but I do see better. I see in HD when I have prescription. Okay, the end. The end. Do a fun other squiggly. Wee woo, wee woo. Wait, I could draw hard. Wee wee. Okay, until next time. Bye.